Hello, Motion Mystique Stories here. Today I will explain to you a movie called Baby Driver. Sit back, relax, and grab a snack as I take you to a different world. The movie opens up with Baby and three other members of a robbery gang pulling up next to a bank in a red car. Baby is the getaway driver for this gang. The gang members are Griff, who sits shotgun. The rest are Buddy and his sharpshooter wife, Darling. The gang gets out of the vehicle to go and rob the bank. They leave Baby inside the car. He is busy engrossed in his music playing through his iPod. After a successful robbery, the gang gets back in the car just before the cops arrive. A crazy car chase then follows between the cops and the gang with Baby steady on the wheel. Here, we get to see Baby's crazy driving skills on display. He destroys some of the police cars behind them through his crazy maneuvers. To confuse the police chopper chasing them from above, he spots two red cars similar to his, driving side by side. He drives between these cars and suddenly changes lanes under a bridge and takes a different route. The police are confused and end up following a different car. The crew gets to a basement garage where they switch to a different car and escape. In the next scene, we see Baby deep in his music as he goes to buy coffee for the other gang members. The barista at the coffee shop is confused when Baby tells him to write the name Baby on the coffees. He wonders which adult uses such a dumb name. While waiting for the coffee, Baby spots a beautiful lady listening to music on her headphones through the coffee shop's glass windows. He grabs his coffees and rushes out to chase after her, but she vanishes. Baby then takes the coffee to the gang members, and here we meet Doc. Doc is the mastermind and brains behind the gang's operations. Apparently, Doc doesn't work with the same crew twice apart from Baby, who is a constant. Griff, one of the gang members, tries to bully Baby due to his quiet nature. He wonders what he is always listening to on his earphones, to which Baby answers it's only music. Doc and the other gang members tell Griff to cut the crap and leave Baby alone. After each member gets their cut of the robbery money, we remain with Doc and Baby at the parking lot. Here, Doc takes Baby's share, only giving him a small bundle of notes. We learn the reason behind this is because Baby is repaying a debt to Doc. He has to do only one more job for Doc and they will be done. Everyone goes home. Back at Baby's home, he lives with his foster parent, Joseph, who is a mute. Here, we learn that Baby makes music using words from conversations that he encounters. He records the words using an old recorder that he carries with him. Through a flashback, we also learn that Baby lost both his parents in a road accident when he was still young. This left him traumatized and with a condition called tinnitus. This is a medical term for hearing noises in your ears. It occurs when there is no outside source of the sounds. Tinnitus is often called ringing in the ears. Baby apparently uses music to drown out these noises. After a few days, Baby is sitting inside a diner. Suddenly, the lady that she saw back at the coffee shop walks in. She is deeply engrossed in the music playing through her headphones. She is singing along to the music, and Baby can't stop himself from recording her voice through his recorder. She disappears to the back of the restaurant. The lady later appears to take Baby's order, and we learn that she is a waitress here, and her name is Debora. The two then start talking, and it's obvious that they have begun getting attracted to each other. Baby tells Debora that he is a driver for important people. She is also surprised that his name is Baby. Debora tells him that sometimes she wishes to just take a drive listening to her music and never come back. Baby also says that he wishes for the same. Their conversation is abruptly cut short by the hotel manager signaling Debora to get back to work. Baby looks at her admiringly as she walks away and realizes that he is in love. Back at Baby's house, we see him enjoying music and dancing for his foster father, Joseph. We see that they have a very special and deep relationship. Then the phone interrupts this father-son moment when Doc calls Baby. He tells him it's time for another job. He tells Baby to meet him at the usual warehouse. At the warehouse, Baby is introduced to the new crew: Eddie No-Nos, JD, and Bats. Bats, however, is not impressed by a kid who is always on his earphones and hardly says a word. Doc tells Bats that Baby is the best driver we'll ever meet. He goes on to tell Bats how he and Baby met. We learn that Baby stole Doc's Mercedes when he was still very young. The car had valuable merch in it, and when Doc tracked him down, he decided not to turn him in but rather make use of Baby's rare driving skills. Baby has been repaying Doc ever since, for the Mercedes and the high-value merch that got lost. Doc briefs the crew about the details of this new job, while Baby is still in his earphones deep in his music. Bats once again doubts whether Baby has understood or even heard anything from the briefing. Baby surprises him by repeating the whole plan as explained by Doc. Bats is not impressed. The next day, Baby and this new crew arrive at their designated place. Outside, they spot a suspicious-looking man getting into his vehicle. This time they are robbing a truck which is supposed to be transporting money. The gang wears their masks and gets on with the job. However, when they are driving away, the suspicious man rams his vehicles into theirs and starts chasing after them. The chase intensifies when he starts shooting at them. Baby unleashes his crazy driving maneuvers as usual, forcing the man to lose control and roll over. They switch vehicles at a highway traffic jam and then get away. We then cut to a scene where Baby gets coffee for the crew as usual and Doc divides up the money. He learns that Bats killed JD after the mission. "That's not cool at all, Mr. Bats." Everybody leaves with his money and we are left with Doc and Baby at the parking lot. This was Baby's last job for Doc and now they are square. He gives Baby his small bundle of cash as usual. We also see JD's body in the trunk of another car. Doc says his goodbyes to Baby and tells him to ditch the ride with JD's body on his way home. Baby ditches the car in a salvage yard and proceeds home to begin his new life. Baby meets Debora at the diner once again. He tells her that he's done being a driver. We learn that Baby's mother used to work in this particular diner, and she was also a singer. They continue bonding at the diner, and later they go to hang out at the laundromat where they listen to their favorite songs. They plan to go on a proper date later that week since Baby will now have a lot of spare time in his hands, back at home. Baby's foster dad asks him to find work as a pizza delivery guy as part of starting a new life. Later in the week, Baby takes Debora for a proper date in a luxurious hotel. They have a really great time. However, when Baby wants to pay for the date, the waiter tells him that a gentleman has already paid for their date. This gentleman is Doc. Baby is surprised at what his former boss is doing, snooping around his date and paying the bills. He goes to have a word with Doc. Doc says that Baby just repaid his debt, but they aren't done yet. He considers Baby his lucky charm and he isn't planning on getting another getaway driver. Doc also threatens to harm Baby's loved ones, including Debora, and break his legs if he doesn't come back to work for him. He promises Baby that now is the time to make a lot of money for himself. Baby takes Debora home after the date. Inside the car, she notices that he doesn't seem all right and inquires what's wrong with him. Baby goes on to explain to her how much he has fallen for her. They kiss. The next day, Doc and Baby go to survey their target for the next robbery. It's a post office where they plan to steal money orders and later cash them out. Baby is sent inside together with Doc's nephew to gather intel and report back to Doc. That evening, Baby calls Debora at the diner and tells her that he has to go back to his driving job even though it's not what his heart really wants. He tells her that he plans to run away and never come back. Debora fancies the idea of running away with him. He tells her he will see her soon. At night, Baby joins the rest of the crew at the warehouse. For the first time, we see that Doc has decided to recycle a crew from a previous job. It is the couple, Buddy and Darling plus Bats from the previous mission. Baby sits down and Doc proceeds to brief them about how they will carry out the money order stealing mission from the post office. After the briefing, they are told that first they'll have to pick up some new guns from an acquaintance of Doc's, untraceable back to them. They will, however, have to come back and spend the night at the warehouse since they have a big day the next day. The crew goes to collect the guns. During the meeting, Bats, however, shoots and kills the leader of the other gang, and a shootout follows where they kill the other members of that gang. This was not part of the plan. The rest of the crew isn't happy with this, especially Buddy. On their way back, Bats tells Baby to stop at a diner because he is hungry. Realizing that it's the same diner where Debora works, Baby initially refuses to stop. Bats threatens him and Baby has no option but to oblige. They walk into the diner and Debora is at the counter. She smiles at Baby, but he ignores her. Debora is confused at what just happened. The crew proceeds to take a table. She walks to their table to take their order, where Bats orders for 4 Cokes. When she brings back the order, Bats tries to seduce her, but she doesn't cooperate. This angers Bats and he takes his gun to go and shoot her. Baby holds his gun and stops him. This makes Bats realize that Baby and Debora are lovers. He gives Baby a sinister look. On their way out, Baby pays the bill and leaves Debora a note telling her that they will run away that night at 2 a.m. Back at the warehouse, Bats lies to Doc that the other gang fired at them first and so they had to kill them. They proceed to go to sleep as they wait for the big day the next day. Baby, however, doesn't sleep. He waits on the clock for 2 a.m. so that he can sneak and run away with Debora. At 2 a.m., he manages to get to the car, but Buddy suddenly appears on the way. Looks like he already knew what Baby was planning. As Buddy questions him about where he is going at 2 a.m., Bats also joins them. Bats produces Baby's recorder. Seems like someone found out the boy had been recording conversations without their knowledge. Baby tries explaining to them that he only uses the recorded words to make music to calm himself down. They consider that the dumbest explanation, and Bats knocks him out. When he regains his senses, Doc is holding him by the hair. He explains why he has so many tapes of recorded conversation snippets. Doc wants to call the deal off, but Baby manages to convince him that he's all good and he will be their driver for the next day's job. Debora, on the other hand, waits for Baby the whole night, but she doesn't see him. The next morning, they pull up at the post office ready to steal the money orders. As usual, the gang goes inside, leaving Baby in the car. When they're coming out of the post office, however, a security guard sees them. Bats kills the guard and gets into the car. They tell Baby to drive off, but he refuses. A conflict ensues where Bats hits Baby hard on the face. Baby angrily drives into a truck carrying metal rods packed in front of them. One of the rods drives through the windshield and goes straight into Bats' chest, killing him instantly. They get out of the car and Buddy holds Baby by the collar, demanding to know why he did that. Just in the nick of time, the police arrive and they have to run. The police start chasing them. Buddy and his girl run together, but Baby runs alone. He is trying to steal a car in the parking lot when Buddy and Darling suddenly appear. The police arrive before the two can join Baby in the car, and Darling is sprayed with bullets. She dies on the spot. Angered, Buddy tells Baby that all this is his fault and starts shooting at his car. Baby is, however, able to get away without being shot. Buddy continues the shootout with the cops. Baby manages to steal another car on the highway from an elderly lady. He heads straight home where he finds his father on the floor, but not injured. Their house is trashed. He proceeds to take Joseph to an elderly home where they will care for him. Baby then heads to the diner to pick Debora. Unfortunately, he finds Buddy at the diner waiting for him with a gun while Debora is all shaken at the counter. Shortly, the arrival of a police officer to use the diner's washroom provides an opportunity for Baby and Debora to make a narrow escape. Baby goes to Doc to ask for help. At first, Doc refuses to help because he has fucked up the mission, but when he sees that Debora is with him, he softens his heart. Doc gives them a bag of money and tells to drive away and never look back. Buddy, however, arrives in a police car before they can leave. He runs over Doc and starts chasing after Baby and Debora. An intense chase follows in which Baby manages to push Buddy's car from a high-floor parking lot. Thinking that Buddy is dead, he goes to have a look only for Buddy to appear behind him with a gun. Before Buddy can shoot him, Debora creeps behind him and hits him with a crossbar, causing the gun to fall. Baby uses this chance to pick the gun and shoot Buddy's knee, causing him to fall down from a high floor, dying instantly. We then cut to another scene where Debora is on the wheel while Baby sits shotgun. They are listening to one of their favorite songs. Their honeymoon is, however, cut short when they come face to face with a roadblock of police vehicles. Debora tries to reverse, but Baby stops her. He kisses her and gets out of the car to surrender. Baby is taken in and we later see him in prison. Despite many of the witnesses vouching for him and saying that he is a good kid who deserves another chance, the judge sentences him to 25 years in prison. Later we see a warden bringing a letter to Baby in prison from Debora. Through the letter, Debora promises to wait for him until the day when they can get into their car. Just the two of them with their music and drive into sunset. This brings us to the end of our movie. See you in the next movie. Subscribe to our channel for more entertaining movies and talk to us in the comments. Remember to give this video a like as well. It means a lot.